Hi grandkids, hi everyone. Today we're making a lovely orange cake, one that the adults always like and some of the children like as well. It's called orange almond flourless cake, and these are my ingredients. We've got 2 oranges. I'll explain while they're in water a little bit later on. We've got 3 cups of almond meal, 1 cup of caster sugar, 3 eggs and 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and I like to add a little bit of vanilla. Now I'm going to explain why we put the oranges in the water. We put the whole orange in the water, we're going to boil it, and when it comes to the boil we're going to throw that water out, put more cold water in and boil it again. That's so it takes out any bitterness that the orange may have. I'm going to do that now. So put the 2 oranges in the water on the stove, put a lid on it, bring it to the boil. After 10 minutes, throw that water out, put some cold water in and bring it to the boil again. Let it boil for about 10 minutes. These are 2 oranges that I had done earlier. I've let them cool and they're really soft. Now what we're going to do is cut them, leave the skin on and cut them again. Remove any seeds. Now cut them into smaller pieces. Now that I've cut them, we're going to put them in the blender. I do it in 2 batches. I find one's just a bit too much. It's 1 batch. So we take the first lot out and then we put the other half in. You see it's quite thick. Doesn't matter if you leave a little bit in the blender because we're going to do the other batch. Put that in, lid goes on and we pulverise it again. That's just about ready. We can turn that off. So there's the orange, all pulverised in the blender. Now we're going to start on the other ingredients in the mixer. So we're going to put the sugar and the eggs into our mixer all together. We're going to beat it on high until it's lovely and soft and fluffy. Once the eggs and the sugar are light and fluffy, just remove them. And we're going to fold in the other ingredients. Just before we do that, I like to put a little tiny bit of vanilla, maybe half a teaspoon. So we're going to fold in the almond meal, do it in little batches. And fold in a little bit of the baking powder. And a little bit more almond meal. And a little bit more baking powder. And lastly, we're going to fold in the oranges. There we go. The almond meal and baking powder have been incorporated into the egg mixture. Lastly, we fold in our oranges. Give it a nice stir. You don't have to overbeat it. In fact, I find with cakes that if you overbeat them, they get a little bit tough. Now I'm going to put this into a 20 centimetre square baking tin. You can use a round one or you can even use a rectangle one, but I like this one. It fits nicely on my serving tray later. Take the last little bit out. I spread it evenly on the top. I put it into a 170-degree oven for about 1 hour, but it does need checking. Sometimes different ovens can heat differently and we don't want it to burn. Now I'm going to show you how to make the syrup, which is what we put on the cake when it comes out of the oven. You don't have to put the syrup. Some people find it too sweet. You can just dust it with icing sugar. But this is how I make it. I take an orange, I get the zest. Just put the zest to one side, and then I cut the orange and I remove the juice and put it into a little saucepan. Put it in the saucepan. We put the sugar in, about half a cup of sugar, and the zest. I'm going to put that over a low heat and just watch it carefully until it becomes a syrup. The syrup has just come to the boil. It will take about 15-20 minutes, but just keep checking it until it thickens. When the syrup has thickened like this, you can take it off the heat, just put it aside. We're going to pour it over a warm cake, that way it really soaks in. I've taken the cake out of the oven. I'm going to put it on the rack for a few minutes, then put it onto my serving platter and show you how to put the syrup on the top. The cake has cooled just a little. I'm going to put it onto the serving tray like this. We're going to flip it over. And then what we're going to do, we're going to put the syrup on top. I like to use a skewer, just make lots of holes all over the cake so the syrup can soak down to the bottom, and just slowly put the syrup on top, spread it around, and it will seep into those little holes. There you can see the syrup. You might not use all of it, and if you want to put a few more holes you can, just so that it seeps into the bottom. Best done when the cake is warm. And there we have it. Our beautiful orange and almond flourless cake. I'll cut you a piece and you can have a look. There we go. Our beautiful orange almond cake. As you can see, this is very easy to make and everyone will love it. Enjoy.